Dear students, in the previous video, we just learned to draw the memory frame of various modification of taproots and adventitious root. And I am very much sure that you are now able to draw that memory frame of your own. In this video, we'll be talking about the modifications of taproots in detail with diagrams and examples. So, as we have learned, there are three categories based upon the different functions on which we differentiate the modifications of taproots, and they are taproots modified for storage of food. First one is storage of food. Second one is modification for respiration. And there can be modification for nitrogen fixation. And we shall take all these modifications one by one. First of all, when we talk about the modification of taproot for storage of food, we have basically four types of modifications, and first one is conical roots. Conical roots, as its name indicates, the shape of such type of root is in the form of cone. These roots, they are broad at the base and they gradually tapers towards their lower ends to form a shape of the cone. So these are the conical roots, and this is obviously the primary roots in which the food gets stored, and the secondary and tertiary root grows from this primary root, right? And here in such type of food, generally what happens, the food sometime gets stored into the hypocotyle. Obviously the hypocotyle is a region between the cotyledons and the radicle, and when the food gets stored in the hypocotyle region, this stem gets reduced, to which we call as a reduced stem or discoidal stem. And when the stem is reduced, the leaves rightly grows from this portion. This is the ground, and below the ground these roots are present in the modified form, and the leaves abruptly start from this region. So stem here is very much reduced, about which we shall be talking in detail in the video where we will be discussing about the modification of stem. So such type of leaves present in these plants are called radical leaves. So these radical leaves are generally present in carrot, radish, turnip, and the stem present in all these plants are reduced stem or discoidal stem. So here when we talk about the conical modifications of taproot, which is there for the storage of food, example is carrot. Second type, when we talk about, that is second modification we have talked about, that is fusiform type of roots. When we talk about fusiform roots, these roots are swollen at the middle and they tapers towards both the ends, but the tapering towards the lower end is more as compared to the upper end. So they tapers like this. This is the reduced stem, and from here will originate the leaves obviously, and the secondary and tertiary roots grows from this region. So you can compare the shapes of conical root and fusiform root. An example of fusiform root is radish. Right friends? When we talk about the third type of modification, that is napiform roots. napiform. Okay, we shall write it in capital letters. There are napiform roots. And when we talk about the structure of this napiform root, I'll be drawing it over here. Here I shall draw it. This is the ground, and the napiform roots are like a sphere, like this, and they abruptly tapers at the base. Abruptly they tapers at the base. Here it is the discoidal stem or reduced stem, and from here the leaves will originate, right? And the secondary and tertiary roots originate from this lower portion. These secondary and tertiary roots are not present in this hypocotyle region of the root, and obviously this food has been stored here in this region, which actually was the part of hypocotyle of the embryo. And as earlier we have talked about, hypocotyle is the region present between the cotyledons and the radicle of embryo. So this is the napiform modification of taproot for the purpose of food storage. An example here is turnip, and you can easily compare the carrot, radish and turnip based upon their shape. Next we shall talk about is the tuberous roots. Tuberous, okay, again we shall write it in capital letters. Tuberous modification, and example here is 4 o'clock plant. 4 o'clock plant. It is a general name for this plant. You can find out, search its botanical name. Here in tuberous form of fruits, the shape is not proper. They don't have any specific shape like conical, fusiform and napiform. They are variously shaped, as you can see, such type of fruits. They don't have any specific shape, and these secondary and tertiary roots, they originate from this region, so they are tuberous roots. So these are the 4 modifications of taproots responsible for the storage of food. Students, when we talk about the respiration, obviously the roots also takes part in the exchange of gases. Generally, the soil, there is enough air present inside the pores of the soil that the roots can easily take up the process of exchange of gases. But when we talk about the mangroves or swampy areas, here the soil is clogged or filled with water. So there is no air spaces or air present inside the soil. At such habitat, the roots, they grows negatively geotropic manner, and they comes out of the ground. That these are the normal taproots which are growing. The taproots normally growing, and at some intervals these roots grows like this, and they come out of the ground like this for the exchange of gases. And obviously these are known as nodulated roots or respiratory roots, and these roots have some specific type of pores to which we call lenticels, which are responsible for the exchange of gases. They are also called pneumatophores, not nodules. They are called pneumatophores, and these special type of pores are called lenticels or pneumatodes in these respiratory roots. And obviously, as we have talked about the examples, the example is Avicennia. Example here is Avicennia. It's again a common name. You should be finding out its botanical name. It's a homework for you. and from various intervals such type of roots gets originated in pneumatophores or respiration or respiratory roots. Next here the roots for nitrogen fixation, and these type of roots are called nodulated roots. They are called nodulated roots. And obviously these roots are generally present in the leguminous plant, and the leguminous plants are included under the family Leguminosae. Family Leguminosae. What these leguminous plants are? Here in the different branching of the roots, here it is a primary root, obviously it will keep on growing, and the secondary and tertiary roots originate from these primary roots, secondary, tertiary roots of different orders. They will grow. I am drawing here only a one portion. So these roots have some specific swellings on it, to which we call the root nodules, and these nodules have the nitrogen fixing bacteria present inside them, and these roots and nitrogen fixing bacteria show a symbiotic association or symbiotic relationship with each other, where both the bacteria as well as these leguminous plants gets benefited by the association of with their association, as the bacteria gets a specific place to anchor and they get the food, and in turn they fixes and provide the nitrogen for these plants. So here these nitrogen fixing roots are present in the members of family Leguminosae, and certain examples are gram and groundnut, etc. So students, these are the various modifications based upon the three different type of functions, that is for function or modification for storage of food, modification for respiration, and modification for nitrogen fixation. In the next video, we'll be talking about the various modifications of adventitious roots. So meet you in the next video. Till then, thank you so much.